Forwards, never backwards, I say, even though I did do January watches, and that makes you think, well, obviously, Shania, you're a liar because you do go backwards. But January watches was only supposed to be an intro, it was only supposed to be an introduction. It was supposed to let you know that from just from this month, then the watches will be continuous. Yeah. And obviously this episode is April watches because it's the first of May today. It's the first of the month. I brush my teeth and count up. But no, sorry. Yeah, so it's the first of the month and I was like, yeah, so now I need to do my April watches. I was even looking, or I was even adding some on last night because I think I was forgetting some of them. Like, do you know what I mean? Also, okay, I was like to myself last night, I'm gonna start off with Yellowjackets, only precisely because I hardly watched it this month and I feel really bad. But yeah, I feel really bad, but I basically didn't even watch it that much and I only watched it for like a brief second. I think that's like I'm on either episode 2 or 3, and so I only watched it for that brief moment, and that's why I said I can start with Yellowjackets now because I don't have much to say about it. And I don't have much to say about it, obviously. I just mean because I didn't watch it a lot, and that doesn't mean before anyone gets onto me, that doesn't mean Yellowjackets is bad. I love Yellowjackets so much, but as I said, I haven't had time to watch it. And then I think the thing is that, like, if I explain it to you guys, it's like my television, yeah, it's just normal TV and it has Roku on it, but I don't have Sky in my bedroom. It's in the living room, and then the living room is always, everyone knows how that works. The living room is always like it's booked out, it's booked and busy, like nobody can get in, like there's security guard on the door, like no one's getting in here. So yeah, that's literally the main reason, but I'm hoping that like I can watch it soon. Yeah, and of course I'm supposed to explain about Yellowjackets. We said cannibalism, yay, but it's like no, they're all still like, this is the thing, I guess they're still deeply affected, and it's like when you have probably a bad experience like that anyways, like one where you're what's it called, yeah, where it's because it's a trauma and it's an open wound as well. You were in like, what was it, not even a car crash, a plane crash. Like you were in a plane crash, and that's even more traumatic. And obviously everyone could have died, you did not, but then that's the thing where you're now out in the wild and you have to seek out survival tactics. And that's what I like about Yellowjackets, because Yellowjackets is like, as I said, I think I've mentioned this before, like Yellowjackets is one of those shows that makes me think about like, it's a mirror on society almost, because it's like, because shows like, or movies like even The Purge or something like that, they're like, oh my gosh, if people were allowed to murder, what would the world be like? What would the world be like? And it's like, it makes you, I don't know, put yourself in their shoes. And then I feel like, yeah, in Yellowjackets, if I was in their shoes, I don't know, I think the wild like would have got me. But that's not even to say anything like, oh my gosh, Shania, you don't think that you're strong? But I'm like, no. I mean, yeah, no. I was like, that's not a bad thing to say though. So what, I don't think that I would be able to survive the wild and what it does to you. Like those girls go through a lot. Do you know what I mean? They go through a lot. And then especially Shauna, okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Like, yeah, I think it's a thing, like maybe even for me, because I have that give up mentality. I'd be like, let the wild take me. Like I said, go ahead. Like I'd be ready and I'd be happy to accept defeat. Like I'd be like, this was fun and all, but you can actually take me now because I don't want to be here anymore. So, and it's just the craziest thing is that, yeah, like the wild makes them turn to eating one another, when isn't it better to just eat animals, but then it's also half of them because the animals aren't really out there all that much. I don't know. And I think, yeah, like I said, I guess living out there makes you cuckoo, it makes you crazy. So yeah, Anyways, that was me touching on Yellowjackets, and obviously I did watch that for a little bit. And I feel like, I think another thing I was going to say is that because obviously this episode was not written like January Watches was written, so it was easy for me to follow. But this is obviously all over the place, and I don't have dates for this either. I think, yeah, January Watches there was dates, but this is me just what I basically watched this month and what I can remember that I watched for sure. And that's why I said I was going to start off with Yellowjackets, because it's probably the one that I've watched the less. All the rest we watched those, and I feel like obviously we finished some of them. Do you know what I mean? Some of them we haven't, but some of them we have finished. But anyways, let's get the ball rolling now that Yellowjackets is out the way. So I finished this month. I finished Iron Family. Which I think, obviously, I mentioned Iron Family probably. Oh wait, no, I was gonna say to you guys, I finished. I was talking about Iron Family in my currently watching K-drama list, but I wasn't, because I think by the time I did that episode, I was already finished. Yeah, by the time I did the currently watching episode, I already finished Iron Family already. But anyways, it was on for like a few months. Oh, well, it started like last year. Yeah. So it started 2024, and it obviously came out in around December, and then it finished. It finished just this month. I mean, just April just gone. And obviously because it had like 36. Yeah, it had 36 episodes. I really, really liked this episode. This episode. I liked this drama. I'm saying episode so many times now it's ingrained in my head, but I liked this drama a lot. Like, I don't know. I think I was talking about the fact that I thought that Iron Family was also like a K-trauma, but it isn't. It isn't. At the same time, like, I feel like it reminds you of the harshness of like being a family and like working hard for that. And I feel like the drama also starts off very somber as well. Like, I feel like it does a lot of on and off somberness for it to really be classed as a K-drama. Like, I don't know. What would you guys say you class as a K-drama anyways? Do you know what I mean? What would you even say? I was trying to classify it myself, but I just do think that like most dramas have a balance of trauma and happiness. Do you know what I mean? And that's how they're all supposed to go. That is the strategy. That is how they are. You have sad moments and you have good ones. And that's the same Vine family. I mean, the family who owns the cleaners, and they don't have much money. So, and then they're obviously at the risk of Darim, who's like the youngest, she's at the risk of losing her sight. But I don't know if you guys even heard me say it before, because then I feel like if I'm telling you about Iron Family again, I just sound like a broken record. But look, you can listen to it anyways. So, like, yeah, she was gonna go blind, and then they had to get her surgery, which was like, it was like 8 million or something. It was really expensive, but obviously, and then there was no way that they could afford it as working as like working in a cleaners, or owning one. But you also have their dad, who was like a gambler, and like, yeah, he didn't bring them anything but like, whoa, he didn't bring them anything but just sadness. And then, yeah, but he's not really a major character, I feel like, in the show anyway. So there's that. What was I gonna say? The thing with Iron Family, I did not like Durham's siblings. That's what I will say. If you've seen it, you'll get it. But it's just like, I didn't like them, and they annoyed me. And I feel like they annoyed me throughout the whole entire thing. 36 episodes, yeah. They annoyed me every single one, mate. You're like, that can't be true, but it is. They were so insufferable. They were so annoying. And I think they were really like difficult with Darim, when it's like, she didn't ask to not be able to see. And I thought that was really weird. And yeah, they just seemed quite selfish. And I was like, if I had siblings like hers, I'd, if I had siblings like hers, dearie me, I would be so distraught. Like, I'd be so distraught. So, and yeah, and you had her sister, who's obviously like both, they both like the same guy, and then she would just tell her sister like, "Oh, Darim, you're just so young, like you're naive, you don't know any better, you also can't see, so you don't really know things." But like, okay, that's rude. So like, you know what I mean? That's rude. But that's fine. And it's just like, yeah, they're just not good siblings. So Marim and Shirim, okay? Remember those two names. If you encounter the drama, remember them well. Other than her siblings, but like other than her siblings, everything's Sunday. Everything is, you know, what do they say? Handy doody, or like everything is going as supposed to. Also the main guy lead, he's great and he makes the drama great. And he's from Mr. Queen, so he does all of that. Yeah, so he brings the comedy, I feel like the comedy factor is the main thing that he brings actually, because I feel like, yeah, that's what you probably needed from this type of drama. And I guess the way that it's like, oh, we're met with our protagonist and it's like, she can't see, and we're like, oh, she's going to be blind forever. And then it's just like, oh, then she has this guy who likes her, and then he likes her even though she's blind. Like, do you know what I mean? Or she's on her way to being blind. But yeah, I would say that Iron Fam is a great watch. And I think, what's it called? Did I rate it on Letterboxd? I don't think so, because I don't think it's on there yet, actually. My bad. It's not on there yet. But I think if it was, I was gonna give it a 5 nonetheless. Like, regardless, you're probably gonna get a 5 actually. Anyways. So, because everything, I feel like whatever, like K-dramas always try to do is just tie everything in together. And yeah, they try to tie everything in together and everything comes out, everything comes out as it should do. But like, everyone is fine and everything is done. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll move on to the next one. The next one is Potato Lab. And I'm sure that Potato Lab was one of the ones that was on my currently watching K-dramas episode. Yeah, it was. And then I've obviously finished that this month. And I really enjoyed Potato Lab. No one's been talking about it all that crazy, but I really liked it. I feel like no one's been talking about it at all. Like, that's what my mom keeps saying. I don't think anyone's really discussing it, but I liked it. I don't know. I never knew the main actress. Of course, I knew the guy because he was from Extraordinary Attorney Woo. And yeah, I just felt like he was in another drama that kind of was similar to Attorney Woo, just in terms of it's like whimsy, because obviously it's supposed to be about potatoes and like, you know what I mean? It's all it's all funny and like, it's all chill, like, you know what I mean? And it has lots of different stuff that make it funny. And of course, Potato Lab would not be, if for some type of K-dramas, Potato Lab would not be classed as that at all. Like, there's no way. It's not even in that league. It's not even resembling anything like that. Like, it definitely is shaped like a potato. Ironic, yes. So it's shaped like a potato, and it's just I wouldn't really say, it doesn't have any imperfections. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have any imperfections. It's basically just good. Like, it's basically just a good one. Let me even check quickly my diary. Just need to check my diary. Because I wanted to know what I rated that. Yeah, I rated Potato Lab a 4. I rated it a 4 because I think I rated it a 4 because not because the ending was bad or anything like that, but because it had 12. I think it had 12 episodes, and I didn't really like that. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really like that. Sorry. Because it was funny. Like, obviously when my mom told me it was gonna have 12, I was like, but why? Like, you know what I mean? It didn't give me any satisfaction. And I think for me, it felt very abrupt and rushed. But then I don't know. But then I also think, yeah, they tied everything in that they wanted to tie in. But then I was just like, oh, K-dramas usually have 16. Or if not, like Iron Family, of course, they have 36 or 40. And I was like, well, do you know what I mean? Those other dramas, they could have story to tell, but Potato Lab didn't. I was like, right, there's so much more. I don't know. Maybe I was like to myself, there's more that we could have got out of it. But then that might be just a me problem. Like, I'm not even joking. It might be a me issue because I don't like it when things end, basically. Even though it's crazy, I don't like when things end, when it takes me a long time to finish them. Tell me how that makes sense. But yeah, like, I didn't like it. But so obviously, yeah, it was on to the 1st of March till the 6th of April. So yeah, that was when it finished, basically. Yeah. I'm one more thing about Potato Lab. Like, I liked the intro. Don't you worry, I'm a lady. What do you see in me? And I think, like, I guess they're the main couple's kind of like dynamic. It was more like what's it called? She's very like feisty, blah blah blah, and then he's like robotic, doesn't really know cues. I was like, yeah, bet. I said we like this. It's like, yeah, to have a couple that you're like, yeah, we like this. We can digest this. This is great. And they were, and they did deliver. They did that whole thing where it's like, I feel like okay, sometimes they just do this where, and it's the same kind of thing, like it's super unnecessary. But it's just like, oh, they have a thing. I mean, they have a problem, then they make up, and we're like, ugh. It's like, just whatever, you know what I mean? But then I get it. There always has to be a climax, and that's what we know. Those are the fundamentals of a good story. They even well, like they teach us that in school. It's actually what's it called? It's the framework. It's the book. Like it says, yep, climax, yes, and then finale. That's just how it goes. But I'm so bored of that though. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm bored of that. I feel like. Just a tad. Just a little bit. Anyways, on to the next one, which was Kara at the End of the World. Yeah, I really liked Kara at the End of the World, honestly. I feel like, of course, I'm going to do that thing I did for January Watches, which is like, I'm going to rate them in terms of ones I really felt like I really enjoyed this month. But like, Kara at the End of the World was really good. Like, I feel like Kara at the End of the World had like, what was it did I think that it had? It came out, so it came out in 2023, and you can watch it on Netflix. It is apocalyptic and a post-apocalyptic fiction. And I think what Carol had was that, the whole thing of like, you think like Midnight Gospel and like BoJack Horseman also, but it just shows that are like animated that make you think, and they make you self-aware. Do you know what I mean? Like Carol was obviously working in that office, and you could see how like it was just the mundane, and everybody in there was just like zombies, and no one was talking to each other. And then Carol wanted to get to know all of her employees, because she didn't probably like being that way, like being, I don't know, is it desolate? Like just the way of like being in an office, just working, then you go home, then it's the same thing. And that's how Carol starts. It's a lot of that. Because it says, with a planet hurtling towards Earth, the extinction is imminent for humans. While most celebrate to pursue their wildest dreams, one quiet, uncomfortable woman stands alone, lost among the hedonistic masses. Yeah. Like, this series was great. And then, yes, Martha Kelly was Carol. So, yeah. And I just don't know, like, Carol's also, like, I think what I was saying about Carol is she's quite relatable, though, also. Because she's just that really kind of, like, awkward woman. Like, you know what I mean? She's an awkward woman. And she just works. Like, she just works so well. And then you have her friend, or well, she becomes her friend eventually. But the woman, oh yeah, but the woman who was, sorry, hold on a second. I got rid of the thing. Yeah, so Donna. So you had Donna, who obviously realized all she did in life was generally just work, and she was obviously with her kids at the table, and she just realized her life a flash before her eyes, really, because it was a thing where she was like, "Oh, all I've done is work," and I was like, "You guys have grown so fast, and I don't remember the things that you're saying." And they were like, "Oh, but it's okay, Mum. Like, you were working," and I was like, "Damn." I was like, I get it. Like, it was like that scene in particular was the one that stood out to me the most, because I was like, obviously, it was like, that is probably most people's reality, the fact of how they have to work so hard to be able to keep their families afloat, but then they realize all they've literally done is work. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it was. All they've literally done is work, and they haven't done much else. But Carol, obviously, I feel like Carol, like, she did quite a lot. And I think I think I wrote this somewhere, but I was saying how Carol and her sister felt like Fleabag and her sister. But like, I don't know if Fleabag's sister ever really envied Fleabag. But I feel like obviously Carol's sister did envy Carol, because she saw Carol's life as like super adventurous and like all these other stuff, and she probably didn't feel like her life was, because Carol goes on this whole, like, you know, she said, oh, the world's ending, that's fine, but she does all of this stuff, like obviously starts talking to her co-workers, she goes surfing, she goes camping, she does all these like crazy stuff, and I guess those kind of stuff are, yeah, they're bucket list stuff, but she does all of those things, and that's why her sister was like, oh, she feels like her life is not adventurous and outgoing as that. But I do think that's a similar relationship for Fleabag and her sister, because I feel like maybe I think for Fleabag and her sister, people liked her sister more than her, though. So yeah, and I guess her sister kind of basically more had her life put together than Fleabag did, but then her husband wasn't even good, was he? No. I meant to do an episode on Fleabag, by the way, but yeah, we'll put that, it's a pin in the hole. I need to do one, because I did one before, but I've never done one like on the lineup of this episode. Because like I said, my origin story of this podcast is it's TikTok. Yeah, I started this series on TikTok. And then I've done a lot of episodes on TikTok. Yeah, I've done a lot of them on TikTok, and then I started to do them on Substack. And I think I started my podcast officially on the 12th of September last year, so I can't literally wait for the 1 year anniversary. I was even thinking about that last night. It's crazy. I'm going on a tangent right now, but yeah. I was thinking about that last night, and I was like, wow, and when it's September again, it's going to be 1 year since I've had my podcast, and it feels weird, because I was just like, where do I want my podcast to be? Or not even where do I want it to be, because I think the article I wrote recently on my Substack made me realize that it's not that I want my podcast to be anywhere. I just think I like the fact that it exists, and I like the fact that, you know, it's out there. And even if, like, you know, even if it's not the thing where you feel like, oh, it's performing in the way that it should, it's more of a thing that it's out there and exists and it's breathing. It's a living thing. And physical media is very, like, you know, physical media is very precious. Do you know what I mean? It's out there and it's physical. Even though, could you say that it's physical? Yeah, okay, no, it's physical. Because sometimes I'm like, you know, when that was that whole TikTok trend of doing physical media and like talking about that, I was like, what do we really say physical media is? But then I was seeing, you know, it's Spotify, YouTube, books, films, And then I guess podcasts are also physical media because they obviously live on, like, you know what I mean? And I think my podcast obviously has been made and it will always live on whether or not I choose to abandon it. Not saying that I am though. Like, so before you guys get hasty, I didn't say that I am, but I'm just saying it's a thing where it's like, yeah, when you create something, it's gonna live on. I even feel like the article that I wrote actually can even link to Carol and Nedwell, because I was just talking about how most of Carol feels like it just highlights about the work life and the work environment. Like, not even anybody in their office knew each other's names. And I don't even think the bosses did either. The two they were two twins. And they didn't know anyone in the office either. So it was a thing that Carol felt like, she had to take it upon herself to get to know everyone in her office. Because it's more of a thing like, you don't want to be... I guess that's why people don't, like, work that way, you know? The way of just being a zombie and working and being so glued onto a computer, when it's like, when you're at work, it's a good thing to interact with others and, like... remind yourself that you're actually still real. You know what I mean? You're not like a Korg. But that's literally what was happening in the show. It was just a lot of them like glued onto those computers and like not moving. And the way that the way that they would film those scenes, obviously, it made it look very apocalyptic, like it was supposed to do. It's like when you see those kind of videos where it's like someone's filming people and everyone's on their phones, and it makes you realize how glued society is. Like, it makes you realize how glued in society is and how we're really like detached to our... Well, not detached, we are attached. That we're attached to our phones, and it's the same thing in the work thing. And then I guess my article was like, more like a hobby than a job. And I was just talking about, like, I think I touched on the article about how capitalism can distort us. And I don't think that, like, saying that you work, like, you do your hobby as a job is probably not always the best thing, because it's like you more look at it as a financial gain than a love thing, than a passion. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, it's hard, like, to blur the line between those. I meant, you know, when you want it to keep being just passion and job, like, it's a bit difficult, because I think, like, any job, when a job is a job, that's what I'm saying. And I guess a job tires you out, there's all of these things, and you don't want it to be like that. Do you know what I mean? That's why I was thinking about my writing, and I was like, I think even when I was younger, I just never wanted it to be like that, because I was like, if it's a thing where I have to choose between, like, writing being a job for me, then I would choose it staying as a hobby. I really would, just because it retains that treasure, and it retains, like, it retains that sentimental value. That's basically the thing. But anyways, I recommend Carrot and World anyways, because that's what I'm saying. And when I compared it to like BoJack Horseman and Midnight Gospel, I'd say because Midnight Gospel and BoJack Horseman are both shows that are very like they have a lot of like realism in them, like Midnight Gospel, and probably in particular because it's all about spirituality. Like, was that a word? Wait, no, all about spiritual stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what Midnight Gospel is. So it's like I feel like Carol and Tuesday can relate to that also. Hey, Carol Tuesday, I meant Carol at the end of the world. Yes. So. And even like, and I guess like the show also feels so unusual because Carol's parents are actually nudists, and it was so crazy. Like two old people who are nudists. I mean, you think and I think I don't know, like with them being new, it seems like it's a thing that's overlooked in the series, but I feel like maybe it's a thing like when you get old, it's like you don't like, I don't know, you don't care about much. Maybe it's supposed to be that kind of view, maybe it's supposed to be that kind of outlook. That's why they chose to be nudist. And I think because when you get older, like, I don't know, you're more, I want to say it's like, oh, you're more open-minded, but then also not. I feel like you're more close-minded, but it depends, I feel like. It's because I think when you're old, it's a thing like, oh, yeah, I'm dying slowly. But no, slowly, but more, like, it will be here quicker. So I think it's like, okay, yes, we're nudists. Why not? Do you know what I mean? That's what I feel like it was for Carol's parents anyways. That's just my impression and my thoughts. So yeah. And the next one on the list is When Life Gives You Tangerines. So everybody's heard it. When Life Gives You Tangerines was crazy. It's like, I think people are calling When Life Gives You Tangerines the best K-drama of the year so far. And I mean, of course, I think to call it that is like, yes, because like we're actually only in May. So I feel like, yeah, you could say that. But I think like it could change. But I would say that When Life Gives You Tangerines had everything that a K-drama needs in it. Like, everyone was saying that, oh, because obviously back on the subject of K-drama, yes, everyone was classing When Life Gives You Tangerines as a K-drama and saying that, like, all you wanted to do was cry. Every minute was crying. And I think I don't know, like, I felt like I was a survivor because I didn't cry much in it. Aside from the last episode. I battled through that show, mate. Battled through it, swatting away tears. Had my sword ready. I was fighting. I said, yeah, I'm not shedding no tears. But there was a few times I wanted to, for sure. And I mean, that's the thing. It's like throughout, like, that's what I think I was trying to say. Like, that's what you can classify a K-trauma is, like, wanting to cry all the way throughout, and there's no breaks. There's actually no breaks. Seeing the TikToks was hilarious. Like, I did an episode on this already, but like the TikToks was funny. Like, there were people putting tissues up their nose and also on their eyes, and I was like, yeah, it was serious. It was the trenches. Like, every moment you were just like, wow, it's so hard. Living in poverty, for one, it's hard in raising your children the right way. Like, it just has all of these different layers, but it's just about life. Like, I think that's what everyone said. Everyone was like, When Life Gives You Tangerines is just about life. Persevere even if life gets you down, basically. That's the message. Take it. We said take it how you will. You know what I mean? Take it how you will. Either you will persevere or you won't. Do you know what I mean? I really loved how, and I think this is a bit like, I'm still writing my review for When Life Gives You Tangerines, which is the funniest thing. I've been writing it since I finished the show. And I'm basically on the bit where I was like, what's it called? It's like becoming the perfect role model. And so I'm kind of on a heading that's about Gwang-sik as a character, and I was just trying to talk about how he was the perfect, like, what was it? Yes, the perfect role model. It's what made Gyungmong, I mean his daughter, it's what made her be like, oh, I'm not gonna settle. There's gonna be a guy who's gonna be exactly like my father and treated my mum. I mean, yeah, a man who treated my mother, yeah, like how I want to be treated, basically. And I like that obviously he reinforced that, and he made it crystal clear, and that it's like that, that's the perfect way to do so that it's like you don't pick up bad traits. I think it's a thing where, yeah, like when you hear those stories about when it's down to abuse, you see how your father is your role model, and it's like, if you see that your father has abused your mother, and it's like, do you know what I mean? It's a bit like, oh, you're gonna go out and you're gonna end up with a guy because you don't know what it looks like. It's all about reinforcing those good behaviors, and then finding a guy who's like that. I mean, because I don't think it's a bad thing to find someone who's exactly like your father, but then of course, I think it's like you want that's the goal, but you also probably also want someone better as well. Do you know what I mean? It's the same. You want the same. You want you want that person to have the fundamentals, but you also want them to go above and beyond as well. Do you know what I mean? You're like, yes, have the fundamentals of what I've seen my father do, but do more. So yeah, I think what got me was that, what's it called? Grant love, if anything, like if it was an object, it would have been the hair clips. Like it literally personified her love personified would have been the hair clips. And I thought that was really gorgeous. And I think we all need like something like that, where it's like you love somebody, but what's the thing that like you showcase that you love them? Do you know what I mean? Do you listen to what they're saying? Do you buy them, not even like do you buy them gifts, because it's like of course that's what it makes you think, but not like, but I don't really think that, because when people say buying gifts, we think, oh yeah, that's materialism, but it's more so like, it's not materialism, but it's like, I feel like it's also like, that person likes this, do you know what I mean? And that it's something that you've paid attention to. It's more so like that. So I really enjoy, like, even for me, I enjoy it when I feel like my friends have listened to me, and like, and it's like you love it when that someone knows that there's something significant about you, not just like oh my gosh, I don't know, I think it works any kind of way, like, oh my gosh, you like pink and I know that you like pink and I saw these pink roses and I thought of you. Do you know what I mean? I think it works in all ways, but it's just like, yeah, I'm trying to think about the point that I want to make probably in that article, what I want to say about Grantic in particular, and like, what do I want to say? I think I started off saying, oh, he's a type of guy who puts his wife before his family, because they didn't really like Asen because they thought she wasn't good enough for him. But it was like, Ace Young was too good for him. Like, hello? They were seeing that Ace Young was from a more, like, lower family or whatever, and that her mum was also... So something... Yeah, they said there's something wrong with Ace Young's mum because obviously she was a diver. But that really wasn't even... That wasn't even true. But yeah, crazy. But, I miss When Life Gives Tangerines, actually. But I feel like... What When Life Gives Tangerines reminded me about, yes, it reminded me about life, and it reminded me we should love our parents more. But then also, I also thought to myself, I just want to watch more bigger and better K-dramas this year. Like, yeah. And I'm trying to beat myself anyways, like, as in my K-drama goal from last year. So I'm just trying to achieve that. I think it was 17. Yeah, I made a note. It was 17, so I would like it to at least be 20. Like, what I mean, like, just a little bit more. Or if it's more than that, then that would be great. But I don't know if it would be 20, even though I know that we're halfway through the year, so we still have a long way to go. And I think there's another K-drama that's like in this watches list. And there's a lot of them actually on this list, but then some of them are going to be harder. I mean, not harder, but like some of them are going to be like harder to watch than the others, because it's like, I always think it's easier to watch a drama when it's actually on. That's just my opinion. Like, you don't have to agree with me, but I'm like, they're just easier to do. Like, as in, when a K-drama is on weekly, it's always easier than if it's just not on, and it's like, I mean, it's like, it's longer. And I love how my watches are like a mix of stuff. I mean, now we're reaching the films kind of bit right now. So obviously this I watched. So then the next one is Party Monster, right? This is a film with a young Macaulay Culkin. And it's about Michael Alec, who was a person who it was like the queer party scene, right? And he would do parties in different places. So yeah, he was an American club promoter who was but like, is that really what they say about him off the bat? Like, that's crazy. Because this is the thing, like, I think I always don't like when people do that, when they're kind of remembered for the wrong things. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's all well and good reminding people of their negatives, but we should also talk about like, you know, who they are and what they did. We said not that. So, but like, dearie me, because obviously, like I said, he was one of the ringleaders of the Club Kids, a group of young New York City club goers, who became a cultural phenomenon in the late 1980s and in the late 80s and early 1990s. So, of course, yes, it's not even like for me to say, oh my gosh, that's a spoiler. It's not, because Michael Alec was actually a real life person. So yeah, he did what's it called? He did do manslaughter, and he pled guilty to first degree manslaughter in 1997, because it was a confrontation over a drug debt, basically. But my thing is that that's why I was like, when I read it at first, or just now, I was like, yeah, he did that. But then I was like, they put that first before the fact that he did a lot for the queer party scene. Do you know what I mean? So they kind of skipped over that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean. That's what I was trying to say. I was like, oh, people like to push forward about a person's faults, the fact that you know, he was an addict, like, obviously, of course, of drugs, and obviously for also killing somebody. But, like, you know what I mean? He was also, like, I think that's why the film is called Party Monster, because it's like, of course, he liked to party, but he was also a monster because he was addicted to drugs and he had all these other problems. But I just, like, I don't know. I think to myself, oh, like, it doesn't necessarily, you know, like, make him a bad guy. I found the film really interesting, though. Obviously, I look into his life, how it went. What else? He also died in 2020. He was 54 when he passed. But so I think that, like, yeah, it was a good film because it had a young Macaulay Culkin in it. It also had, what's that guy's name? What's the guy's name again? Steph Green, yes, I love Steph Green, and Chloe Sevigny, and Natasha Lyonne, and Wilhelm Valderrama. So it's a film of Guess Who. Like, literally, that's what when I went to the screening, it was like people said, yeah, it's a game of Guess Who, because there's so many different people that you can spot. But, you know, this film for me, like, of course, it was a documentary and it was a look into Michael Alec, but I was really looking at it more of the lens of, like, I miss partying. Like, for me, like, that was what it was. I was looking at it in that way, and it makes you, yeah, reminisce on that anyways, because I was thinking, okay, of course, the party, what's it called? Party genre, maybe, also, because that life is full of drugs, like, what's it? Drugs and alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the name of the game. But I was just missing, like, you know, the whole thing of, like, dressing up and, like, having a good time. And it's like, I was thinking to myself, I don't think I've dressed up in a really, really long time. I don't think I've dressed up in a really long time, and it made me reminisce. So, and I think what I liked about Michael was that, yeah, he was just like, he was one of those characters, you know, where it's like, they're unknown and they come out like a shot of the dark, and all they want to do is make their imprint on the world, which is what he has done. Do you know what I mean? I like a good character like that. They want to make an imprint and they want to be remembered. And you know, that's exactly what Michael Alec did. Even if okay, his story's a bit like, you know, I don't know, his life ended up in turmoil, but like, you know, he still made his way. Do you know what I mean? He still did that. People know him and they remember him for his infamous parties. So, like, this is what I'm saying. But anyways, and then the next film after that was Almost Famous. Yeah. Almost Famous was great. Yeah. It was great. It was wonderful. I think, like, what reminds me of Almost Famous is that, like, you shouldn't shelter children, for one thing, which is kind of what his mum was doing, or she did that to him when he was young, and probably also his sister. But a life of like no music and like stuff like that, and being sheltered until then when he was older and he could finally leave. And then he obviously went to like interview musicians and yeah, be in that world of music and rock and roll. Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think it's good to shelter kids from things. I mean, because it's like, I know it's like, yeah, we have to protect children, but then it's also like they need to experience things. I think it's a thing, even how, what is it? I'm always talking about Hayao Miyazaki, innit? You guys probably like, either the Shania goes talking about Hayao Miyazaki again, but no, like, he always wants to, like, his no matter how old the children are, like, as in the protagonists of his stories, he wants them to go through some kind of life-changing thing. Like, they said, no matter what it is, either it's grief or it's something else, or some grief, some kind of absence. He wants them to go through something difficult, and like, yeah, so then it's like they're not sheltered, they're going through something difficult, and it's like it just makes or breaks them. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. It makes or breaks them. And that's just we said it's the name of the game. I've said that twice. But yeah, it's the name of the game. And I think obviously his mum was like a very protective mum, but then, you know, one day you'll be cool, and he was. He was cool. So he obviously got to interview that band, and they were on the cover of Rolling Stone. And then the Tiny Dancer scene, and I was like, yeah, I was even singing as well. That is what is a great scene. Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's cinema. right there, that's cinema. Because I was like, everyone wanted to hear that. Do you know what I mean? Tiny Dancer by Elton John. So, and it was a thing where, especially that scene, I was like to myself, it was a time where they were unsure of where their band was. And then it was like, they all just, that song started playing and they all started singing, and it was like, yeah, they're together and, you know, they're a family. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happens on tours anyways. Like, everyone is bonding, everybody, they go through their riffs, and that's just what band life is like. Do you know what I mean? And I think you hear that a lot. Like, I just mean, even in the concept of bands, for it to be like, oh, who's the leader of the band? We're like, gosh, there's no, we're all in this band. You know what I mean? We're all in this band, and we all play individual roles. It's like, it reminds me, yes, of My Band by D12. I'm the lead singer of my band. I get told the girls to take off their underpants. But no, like, as in, what's it called? Yeah, they kept just saying, like, oh, where's Eminem? Like, as in, oh, who's the leader of the band? And it's like, there is no leader. Like, there is no leader. And I feel like we always do that. I think we sometimes do that when it's like, oh, the lead singer always has to be the leader of the band. But I don't even think it should be like that, because it's like a band can't be a band unless the other people are there. Well, like, then there's just a solo singer, and then it doesn't work, does it? So, like, literally, there's no I in team. And I've always found that phrase so funny, because yes, there is no I in team. It's 4 letters. Like, the phrase is hilarious. It makes me laugh. So yeah. After that was the life list, which I feel like I didn't enjoy as much as I wanted to. I gave it 3 out of 5. And I think, I just did an episode on this as well. You guys are like, how many episodes did you do? Like, yes, a lot of the stuff in this month I did already 2 episodes on. But like the life, yeah, I spoke about in that episode too that I wanted to like the life list more than I did. And probably on the press, like, yes, on the presses, because it's a rom-com, and rom-coms are great. Like, we all know that, like 27 Dresses, How to Lose a Guy in 100 Days. I think that was my thing. I was like, I want to like you so much because you're a rom-com, and I know what rom-coms are supposed to be like. I know what they are, and I know what they're supposed to do. But I don't know what happened with this. I think I tried to explain it, but yeah, it was the acting. It was, I don't know what else. No, actually, it wasn't necessarily the acting. I said maybe it was to do with the words and the wording. And then obviously it was just feeling a bit weird at times. But other than that, I do feel like it had a great, like, as in it had a great story. And then I also said it because I saw somewhere that it might have been better as a TV series. And I did actually agree with that. I think as a TV series, I feel like there could have probably been more to do. And I feel like sometimes with a TV series, you can probably fix the errors in some way. But then when you do a movie, it's like it's packaged into like that duration of time. So it's like, yeah, it's either good or it's not. So yeah, but I do think, I just mean, because with TV series, you have them for longer. So it's easier for them to work their way on you, like to make an impression on you. But I guess, and I guess you either like them from the offset. Actually, no, that's what I'm saying. You don't necessarily always like them from the offset. It's a thing where it can grow. So yeah, I mean, I think to myself, with a film, it can also grow too. But I'm just saying, I mean, with a film, yeah, it's not. It's like there needs to be more. Like, I feel like if The Lifeless was a TV series, probably would have been like a 12 or a 16 at most. But I don't think anything crazy like that, though. It's crazy. Every time I do this, because, every time I do these watches, I'm like, I'm only halfway through the list. The next one, and we're already at 52 minutes. So the next one is Haine. So obviously hate, in English. So yeah, that film, I think I gave that a 5. That was a great film. Like, obviously when I finished watching it, it was like, yeah, 5 out of 5, no crumbs. Like, it was literally like, I couldn't pick out any flaws about that film. I couldn't say anything. And you could even compare that with how I was talking about the life list. It was like, the life list, there was things to me that I was like, no, and I was like, And it was like, sometimes when it's like I'm rating, I'm like, I know whether something's a 3 or a 4 or a 5. And it's like, yeah, it wasn't hitting the mark, the life list. But like, the Haine had everything. Like, first of all, it's obviously on the concept of hatred. And like the whole thing with like, the police, real, like, it gave me real, what is it? NWA, real NWA straight out of Compton. I said, yeah, you guys hate the cops. You think they're pigs. Yeah, you said, down with the police. I said, yeah, I get this. But then I was like, and the thing that was the message of that film is that hate will consume you if you let it. And I was like, yeah, word. Like, yeah, word. So I was like, that's what that film had that impression on me. yeah, I feel like in a ways I'm probably gonna start like I'm gonna start going over things quickly. I did that in the April one as well, but I'm gonna start going over these. I mean, not in the April one, in the January one, but I'm gonna go over these a bit quick. Okay, I figured out a way now to what's it? I found a way to downsize. So I'm gonna speak about. I think I've got like 4 more to talk about, and that's it. I was like, you'll be glad to know I only have 4 more left. But then, and then afterwards, I think I'll just add something in the description, which is other, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyways, so one of the ones that I starred was Weak Hero Class 2. I really enjoyed Weak Hero Class 2. I think people were saying, do they feel like Weak Hero Class 2 was better than season 1? And yeah, I mean, I feel like what's also another thing is that Seong he's had an evolution. So, and he's had an evolution, yeah, twice. And both times it's been a thing where he's like, yes, I need friends around me. That's how I'm going to survive in this world. And we said, exactly. Like, that is how you're going to survive. That is what you have to do. And yeah. And I think, I was worried for him at the very beginning because I thought maybe he wasn't as good as fighting as he was in the last one. But then it seems like he was actually still okay. Like, he was actually still all right. I was worried for a moment, but I think, this season was very melancholic because he was having a really tough time. So I think that was probably quite normal that he was going through something. And so it was like he wasn't even supposed to be fighting and he ended up fighting again. And we were like, well, you just can't help it, can you? And also, like, yeah, you're in a new school, new place. You're actually like, you are what, do you know what I mean? You're actually what they want. Like, when there's a newbie, it's like, yeah, this is definitely, you are who they want. They don't want the other people who are here. Like, they want you. They've heard stories about you. Like, you're new, you're interesting. We said, yes, tell me more. But yeah. The next one after that is due season 5. And obviously, which is the final season. I'm just hoping, like, that Joe, I don't know what I want for Joe to get, like, redemption, prison time, redemption, prison time, I don't know. Like, I just hope that, like, yeah. When I think about Joe as a character, I'm like, he's been through so much, and that's why he's a product of his trauma, and like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but like, it's just like, what do you want him to do? Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like obviously Kate wants him to be something that he isn't, which is so well and good, but like, you know what I mean? We said, know who you're with, like, do that much at least. Like, like, I don't think we're asking all that much from you just to know who you're dating and who you share a bed with. But yeah, like, that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping for a lot from him. I feel like, yeah, I want him to win. I want him to be the best. So yeah. And the last 2 is Resident Playbook and The Vampire Diaries. Funny enough, yes, I've seen Vampire Diaries before. I'm just rewatching it and I'm having a really, really good old time. Like, if you're bothered, I'm having a really, really great time. Yeah. I'm having a fantastic time. So, and as I said, I think I've mentioned this before about rewatches. Like, rewatches are great. And I think, yes, rewatches stop you from watching new things. That's what they're supposed to do. But so who cares? And me rewatching Vampire Diaries, I'm reminding myself of how good Vampire Diaries was. Like, it's crazy because Vampire Diaries is a nostalgic show for me, and I watched it when I was, I don't even know, mate. When I was in school. Yeah, mate. When I was in school, and I was like, and it used to be on the TV, and it's like, now I'm rewatching it again as a 22-year-old, and it's like, wow. I'm like, this show was great. Why why I don't talk about it more, or I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how many times I've rewatched it. Also, it's not even my second or third time rewatching it actually. But I'm just, yeah, I'm doing it out of nostalgia. Um, so you know what? I just thought, I say yeah, and it's a lot. I'm like, if you guys were taking shots, you would be plastered. But yeah, like, it's interesting seeing how Catherine the Menace, the one, she's great, and how it's not even a thing where she had Damon and Stefan. She had Elijah and Klaus. We said, girl, you really spread yourself around. We said not to say nothing about you, but dearie me, we said you were doing a lot. So yeah, you were doing a lot. And it's a thing where, like, I don't know, it's crazy because yes, history repeats itself, because then you have Elena, who's obviously her doppelganger, and then I don't know, they want Elena, Klaus and Elijah, and then Damon and Stefan are both fighting, and yeah, all of this stuff. We're like, damn. I think I'm on season 2 currently. Yeah, I'm on season 2 currently. I just think to myself, because I saw somebody who was actually watching Vampire Diaries for the first ever time, and I was like, wow, for people who are watching it for the first ever time, like, wow, what a lovely time you're having, because you're watching it for the first time, fresh lensed, eyes open. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching it, but I'm like also not. It's like background music, but then it's also a very good time as well. And last but not least is Resident Playbook. So, I think Resident Playbook is a prequel to Hospital Playlist, and it's super, super good. Like, for me, it's crazy because I really do like hospital dramas. Like, that's the thing. I was watching Dr. Romantic as well, which I didn't finish, but I do like them because I like, the busyness of, working in a hospital. Like, not that I would do it, but just like I like that, and I like all of that rush. But then it's like I get very squeamish of the surgeries though, and it's like, even though it's funny because they're not real, like, you know what I mean, it's funny. I ask myself, the surgeries aren't real, but then I still find them squeamish. And I'm enjoying a lot of the comedy in this drama, and yeah, I'm enjoying the comedy. And I think so far they have, like, is it 5 or 6 or something like that? But I do know that it's not coming back for a second season, which is a bit of a shame, because I thought that they would kind of do the same format as they did with Hospital Playlist. Because Playlist had 2 seasons and 12 in each, so I thought they were going to have the same thing. But Netflix did what it always does, which is cancel shows, and we're like, boo. Like, you guys, like, you have a big company and you want to just cancel, like, weird shows. And then even the thing is, because it's like Resident Playbook is popular, so it was a bit like, when I read the article, I was like, so it's popular, but you're cancelling it. And they do that a lot. So it's the thing, it's like, yeah, you're like, I'm not surprised, but it's also like, why? Yeah, so just like, why would you do that? So that's the thing. But hey, that was all the things I watched in April. I mean, I'm gonna put some in the description as well, but that was everything that I watched. And tell me what you watched this month also, and see you in the next one, which will obviously be a May edition.